All right, so we have reached the part in Unit 5 where you are really good at energy transformations, and one of the energy transformations is thermal energy. So we're going to talk about thermal energy a little more and how it can cause phase changes to occur in the 4 states of matter. So you have your states of matter and phase change notes in front of you. And the first thing that we're going to do is we want to go ahead and list out our 4 phases of matter. You're going to need something to write with for these notes, and definitely going to need a good set of highlighters. So our first state of matter that we have is solid. Then we have liquid. Then we have gas. And last, we have plasma. And plasma is the one that people usually forget about, that 4th state of matter. Solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. Those are our 4 states of matter. Okay, so we're going to work through this little chart together comparing those 4 states. So next we're going to have an illustration of each of these. Feel free to pause this video at any point as needed. So for our illustration of the solid, we want our particles to be very densely packed together, shoulder to shoulder, very tightly packed, and it is a rigid structure, so it's going to hold its shape. Notice it's not going to take the shape of the container that it's in, and we'll say that this box is the container that it's in. Now our liquid, let's kind of do a little swirly line to kind of show there's movement. Our liquid is a little more spread out. See, there's more space between those particles. And I'm going to do these other little lines to show that there's more movement. These particles begin to slide past each other. There's more kinetic energy there. And this liquid is going to take the shape of the container that it's in. See how it fills that box right there? It takes the shape of this container, but it doesn't expand to fill the container. That's the job of a gas. So a gas is going to expand or contract to fit the container. The particles are going to be even more spread out. There's going to be more kinetic energy, so they're going to be moving even faster. And they're going to spread to fill the whole container. And then we've got old crazy plasma here. Plasma is like super energized gas, and the electrons are free from the nucleus. That's what that says right there. Electrons are free from the nucleus, and the electrons are the little negatively charged particles. There's our negative electrons, and they are separated from the nucleus of the atom. That's that center core of the atom, and they have separated from that. We're going to learn more about plasma in just a bit. Okay, so that's our illustration of what those look like. All right, so here is some characteristics about the type of shape, if it's fixed or not fixed. So in a solid, it has a fixed shape. You may see the word rigid. Rigid means it's unchanging. If a teacher is very rigid, then she's not going to bend the rules for a student under any circumstances. You may see the word definite shape. Do you have definite plans for the weekend? That means you know definitely what you're doing. And just in everyday terms, the shape does not change. Now, for a liquid, it does not have a fixed shape. It's going to take the shape of the container that it's in. It has an indefinite shape, we might say. You could also see where it has a fluid shape. It's going to take the shape of the container that it's in. And then a gas has no fixed shape. It has an indefinite shape as well. It takes the shape of the container. It's going to even expand or contract to fit the container. And that's going to be the same for plasma. Make that pink actually. Okay, the same for plasma. All right. So we're going to look at volumes now. Solids have a fixed volume. I think in math y'all just got through measuring a lot of volumes of different solids like spheres and cones and cylinders. You're really good at that now. Solids have a definite volume. Liquids have a fixed volume. Do you remember the tool in lab that we use to measure the volume of a liquid? Do you remember what that's called? We always have to keep the collar at the top. Remember, it's called a graduated cylinder. Liquids also have a fixed volume and a definite volume. Get to talking too much and highlighted the wrong color. Don't do that. Okay? And then gas, it does not have a fixed volume. That's because it expands. See how it went all the way up to fill that box? Like filling up a tire or filling up a basketball. It can be compressed or expanded. That's why, like on a hot summer day, your basketball bounces really, really good, but on a cold winter day, it feels like it's flat. And then plasma has no fixed volume. All right, type of movement. In a solid, particles are tightly packed and vibrate in place. Solids are the most dense. Remember talking about density back in Unit 1. Solids are the most dense. Now, in a liquid, particles are loosely packed. Particles slide past each other. In a gas, particles move freely around the container. And in plasma, particles move very freely. They're crazy energized. Can't wait to give y'all some examples of plasma in just a moment. All right, so here's our real life examples. For solids, the desk that you're sitting in is a solid. The pencil or pen that you're writing with is a solid. It's holding its shape. It's got a fixed volume. The particles are tightly packed. Ice. We humans are solid. We're full of liquids, but we hold our shape. We're solids. Plants and rocks are solid. And then when we look on the periodic table, you've got this periodic table. This is a student planner right here. So you've got one of these in your book bag, I bet. So when we look at this periodic table, I'm not sure if you ever noticed, but you've got this little key right here. See if I can zoom in enough. Okay, so look right here. See if I can make this not blurry. There's solid, liquid, or gas, and it's based on the way that it's written. So pull yours out and take a look at it. And when you look at the periodic table, or most of the elements on the periodic table, solids, liquids, or gases, it's based on the way that the symbols of the elements are written. So when I look at this periodic table, are most of them written in solid black lettering, in blue lettering for liquid, or in white lettering with a black outline? So most of these on the periodic table are written in solid black lettering because most of the elements on the periodic table are solid black, are solids. Okay? So a few of these that we're going to list on our paper that we will come in contact with would be carbon, like charcoal or the graphite in your pencil, or even diamond in rings. Those are made out of carbon. And then another example that we're going to write down is aluminum, like aluminum foil that you would wrap leftovers up in, or aluminum cans that you would drink soda out of. So that's our other example that we're going to write. Let me spread this out a little more. Okay, so we've got carbon and we've got aluminum that we want to write down as real life examples of solids. Okay, knowing that most of the periodic table is solid elements. Real life examples of liquids: juice, milk, and then on the periodic table there's only two. Let me show you which ones they are. You may have noticed them when you were looking it up yourself. Do you see the blue BR right there? Okay, definitely look at this on your own periodic table in your planner. That's bromine. And do you see the other blue one that's a liquid? Mercury, Hg. These are the only two that are found naturally in the liquid state, bromine and mercury. So we want to write those down in our notes. Now for gases, the air, your breath, propane, like what you would, the propane that's in the tanks that you would hook your grill up to, grill hamburgers with. And then on the periodic table, remember the gases, when we look at our key right here, they are white letters with the black outline, and most of the gases are located over here in this last column, group 18, and then some right there. So we've got helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, fluorine and chlorine, oxygen, nitrogen, and the other one is hydrogen right over there. So the ones that we're going to list out are oxygen, O, hydrogen, a capital H, and helium, a capital H and a lowercase e. Those are our elements that we're going to list out that are found naturally in the gas state. And then last, for plasma, our examples, think about these are gases that are super, super energized. Remember, their electrons have left their nucleus. So stars, so the sun is plasma. Remember that nuclear fusion that's taking place? That's plasma. Lightning is plasma. Fluorescent lights, we call them neon lights, are plasma. Electricity is plasma. Remember, electricity is the flow of electrons. Well, those electrons have left their nucleus. And then the last thing that we want to do is down at the bottom, let's make note of this. The plasma column has the most kinetic energy. They're moving around the most. The solid column has the least kinetic energy. They're just vibrating in place. And as we move across from solid to liquid to gas to plasma, our energy increases and also our temperature increases. These are the coldest. That's kind of why I've concentrated them being blue. And then these are the hottest. That's why we've sort of focused on them being more of the warm colors. So, finish up this sheet, and then you can flip over and get started on the next activity with your teacher. If you have any questions, let us know.